Hello there and welcome to a new video of About Koi. In this video we are going to select Doitsu Kohaku, Doitsu Sanke, and we will share a lot more information on these varieties and how these varieties are selected as baby koi. We are going to have a look at the Shinoda Koi Farm and how, in this case, the second round of selections is performed. It is early in the morning as we are preparing to start the selection of many baby koi. We are at breeder Shinoda in Japan, and today we are selecting Doitsu Sanke and Kohaku for the second round. The Shinoda Koi Farm is well known for their hiyotsuri that are of very high quality. The farm consists of about 40 mud pounds, and the most common varieties here are the hiyotsuri, Doitsu Kohaku, Sanke and Showa. Masanori Shinoda is also trying out a bit with Ginrin varieties, for example Ginrin Showa. To reach our destination, where we will be selecting today, we had to drive for about 40 minutes. We are going towards two of the fry ponds of Masanori Shinoda that are actually quite large. During the first selection, there were about 50,000 baby koi in both of these mud ponds. Now there are less than 5,000 koi left in both of the mud ponds. I mentioned that this is going to be the second round of selection, and these baby koi are now about 5, almost 6 weeks old. The first selection took place at the age of around 3.5 weeks old. For breeders, it is actually very important that baby koi are selected at an early age. And several of you have asked me questions in previous videos why actually this is the case. And it is quite simple, because the more baby koi you have living in a single mud pound to grow out in, the slower the growth process will take place, just because there is more stocking. And of course, a breeder also wants to offer the best conditions as is possible for his koi. And when he has more koi in his fry pounds, it means there is also more waste. So the water quality actually is decreasing as there are more koi in the pound. In addition, the breeder sees only potential in the better koi. So the ones he is selecting and discarding actually do not have the potential to develop into a good koi. For example, because the pattern is not that good, or a koi is entirely red, entirely white or entirely black instead of having a real pattern. And also the body posture at this young age already can be a bit lacking. Too small or too wide posture, for example. I already mentioned that the mud pounds of Masanori Shinoda are really quite large. And the mud pound that you can see here is not the mud pound that we actually selected today. This is one of the larger mud pounds of the Shinoda Koi Farm, but just as an example of how large a mud pound really can be. The pounds we are selecting today really have a serious stocking, estimated at around 5,000 baby koi in both of the mud pounds. What is quite nice to see at this farm is that actually even the parents of Masanori are helping out. They already have a respectable age, but are still very willing to work hard and do their best to help out on the koi farm. And yes, of course, I'm also helping out to catch all the fry. So this is Masanori Shinoda selecting some of the Doitsu Kohaku and Doitsu Sanke. So what we did just before this part is, well, what would you do when a stranger is coming to help you out on the selection of your koi? Then you want to make sure that he or she is doing alright, isn't it? So it's not that strange that Masanori, of course, is first checking out together with me how and on which aspects I do select the koi on. So that is not entirely new. I've helped on several other koi farms in Japan during the selection process. And after 2 small nets of koi, probably around 40 or 50, Masanori is already smiling and I'm free to do all the work by myself. So that actually is really nice. What I would like to do is teach you some of these basics in how you can select Doitsu Kohaku and Doitsu Sanke. Even though it is the Doitsu variety, so a scaleless koi or only a few scales on the skin, it is still quite similar to the normal scaled Kohaku and Sanke. And honestly, there are not really differences. I think it is even easier to select Doitsu as the colors already seem to be more intensive. What I will do is share pictures of Doitsu Kohaku and Doitsu Sanke with you and explain you all the basics that you need to know when you select these varieties. So let's zoom in on the Doitsu Kohaku first. When we talk about selection of Doitsu Kohaku, the most important aspect during both the first and the second selection is the pattern. What is important is that the red pattern is laying in between the eyes. It should not cover the entire head, and at the same time the entire head should not be white. Preferable also the nose section is white, and red is not covering the eyes. It is also appreciated that a nice pattern is visible. That could be, for example, a nice multiple step pattern. On a Kohaku, it is also preferred that there is an odome visible. This is the last section just before the tail starts. This area should be white. It gives a koi, when it grows larger, a more impressive and stronger appearance. And the example used is actually a really good selected Doitsu Kohaku. However, it still needs a long way in order to determine if this koi is really going to develop in the way we are selecting it for now. A lot can happen in the meantime. The pattern can break open, maybe the body posture doesn't develop how we expect it to be, and so on. And for that reason, actually a lot of selections are performed during the first year. For some breeders, this can be up to 6 or even 7 times. And now when we talk about Doitsu Sanke, actually we are taking the same aspects into account as we just did for Doitsu Kohaku. But now it is also important that the sumi patches, or the black, is well placed as well. So again here the pattern should be in between the eyes. There should be white around it, not overlapping the eyes, and preferable also the nose is white. For the red patches, a multiple step pattern is preferred, and there should be black dots visible and nicely divided over the body. During this early stage of baby koi, it is important to take into account that the black will slowly develop over time. So it is not necessary that the black patches are really dark already. It is okay when the sumi patches are light colored, just like on this Sanke. Also, we are not really taking into account if the sumi is very good placed. So it is okay if it is still a little bit messy. At this stage, the Sanke is still too young to determine if the sumi patches are like spot on the right location. Sanke is a very difficult variety to select. Not really because it is harder to look at them and determine which aspects are good or not, but simply because Sanke have more factors that influence the koi during development and the growth process. A Sanke is a Kohaku, but then also has black spots. So you have all the aspects of a Kohaku that you need to take into account, but then in addition you also need to pay attention to the black spots and where they are going to appear. And you can imagine that sometimes you find the perfect Kohaku pattern on a Sanke, and then the black spots are not really placed well. On the other hand, you will also find perfectly placed black spots, without having a good Kohaku pattern. So Sanke are considered to be one of the most difficult varieties to select and grow out. What I've seen at the Shinoda Koi Farm is that during the selections the amount of good pigs is very high. It is about 30 to 35%. And that while I have been at other breeders where not even 10% can be selected during the second selection round. So this is actually really good. Since I've shared a lot of background information on the selection of Doitsu Kohaku and Doitsu Sanke, it might also be nice to try selection by yourself. Selecting baby koi is not that difficult as you might have seen in this video. I believe everyone will be able to do so, so you just have to try, practice and learn. I took a snapshot of this video, not super sharp, but you can see most of the baby koi quite well. I also added numbers so you can mention in the comments which koi you would have selected. You can base that on the information I have provided in this video. And I won't go into detail and discuss all of these baby koi with you. But of course I will reply to your comments, so make sure that you comment which koi you would select and I will reply to it as well. And if you have any other questions regarding the selection process, feel free to ask me. Later that day, after the Senbetsu or selection, we also performed several checks of mud pounds and the koi that are in there. So of course I'm also going to show that to you. This is daily routine for breeders in Japan. They want to ensure that all their koi and pounds are doing well. So not only the pounds with young fry, but also the pounds with larger koi. And of course that also means that the feeding machines are checked. I mentioned before in this video that Shinoda is really known for his very high quality Utsuri mono. And then especially the ones that have red and black, so Hi Utsuri. This is one of the pounds that contains them, in super green water. And by the way, the Hi Utsuri of this breeder can become very big. Masanori mentioned that one of his customers has an Hi Utsuri over 1 meter in length, and that is surely very impressive. I'm glad that you watched this video and really hope that it was insightful and that you did get some new knowledge about the selection process of baby koi. Hopefully you did enjoy and like my video. And don't forget to mention in the comments which numbers of koi you would have selected if you had to perform the selection. If you did enjoy this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm sure that you will also enjoy the new upcoming videos. Thank you again for watching and see you in the next video.